Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The lower house of the Polish Parliament, the Sejm, ratified the European Union's €750 billion Recovery Fund aimed at supporting the European Union economies battered by the coronavirus crisis. The vote went through with 290 MPs voting in favour, 33 against and 133 abstentions. What's interesting is that the law was passed by MPs from the ruling Law and Justice and the left, while the usually Euro-enthusiastic Liberal Civic Coalition abstained from voting. And one of the ruling coalition parties, Solidarna Polska, voted against it. According to observers, this vote may be evidence of upcoming changes in Polish politics.
There were 290 MPs for, 33 MPs against, and 133 MPs, mostly from the Civic Coalition, abstained. 211 MPs of Law and Justice were in favor of accepting the fund, 20 were against, including Solidarna Polska, and 3 members of the Law and Justice Party, Małgorzata Janowska, Sławomir, Zawiślak, and Siarkowska. Krzysztof Sobolewski, the head of the Law and Justice Executive Committee, said there will be consequences for the 3 deputies who broke away. The management of the Law and Justice Club will decide on the consequences directly related to club discipline. In the future, voters will draw conclusion and consequences. The Civic Coalition party abstained with the exception of Frank Starzewski, who voted in favor. 20 deputies of Law and Justice voted against their own government. This shows that there was a great chance. If the opposition had played hard, it would have forced Prime Minister Morawiecki to negotiate the terms on which the funds will be spent. The deputies who did not support the National Reconstruction Plan are divided into those who did so for ideological reasons, Confederation and Solidarna Polska, and those who did so for cynical political reasons, Civic Platform. The latter's move, which ended in a fiasco, however. The deputies who did not support the National Reconstruction Plan are divided into those who did so for ideological reasons, and this is Confederation Solidarna Polska. However, in the case of the Civic Platform, Platforma Obywatelska, it was a cynical political move, and it ended in a fiasco. Chairman Borys Budka was unable to play it out politically according to his own intentions. Poland is to receive a total of 770 billion from the EU budget and the Reconstruction Fund, which will be divided into several segments: green energy, green intelligent mobility, competitiveness of the economy, health protection, and digital transformation.
The meeting of the presidents of Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia and Ukraine, held to celebrate the adoption of Poland's 3rd May 1791 constitution, held in the Royal Castle in Warsaw, concluded, appropriately, on the 3rd of May. The presidents came together to send a message of unity, while warning about the dangers from those who sought to sow division between them. Meanwhile, Russia's Izvestia Daily carried an attack on Poland for trying to rebuild a regional sphere of influence, something which Russia continues a potential threat, and this alliance of states suggesting that even working together they are seriously inferior in potential to their western and eastern neighbours.
In the lengthy article published by the most prominent Russian state media outlet, Izvestia, the May 3rd constitution was dismissed as insignificant, while Poland was attacked for seeking to establish a sphere of influence on its western border based on the common heritage of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which had once stretched from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea. The article concluded that any alliance of the states of Central and Eastern Europe would be unattainable for the simple reason that even altogether they are, in the author's view, seriously inferior in potential to their western and eastern neighbours.
More than 41,000 people took part in the coronavirus vaccination campaign over the long weekend, and for some regions, the mobile vaccination points provided by the government will remain in operation for as long as vaccine supplies last. No registration will be required, and only an active e-referral will be needed to receive the vaccination.
The government provided data that showed that a total of 41,292 people were vaccinated over the long weekend under the campaign. The Ministry of Health has reported that during the last 24 hours, there has been 3,896 new infections and 349 new deaths, bringing the total infection number up to 2,811,951, total deaths to 68,482. The total number of vaccinated people goes up to 12,225,861, Within those, 9,186,041 people has received the first dose, and 3,184,152 received their second dose.
Given the experience of shortcomings in supplies of medical equipment at the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, as a result of having become overly reliant on foreign-based producers, especially those in China, the European Commission today unveiled a plan for the European Union to become independent of Chinese and other foreign suppliers in strategic areas such as pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. The European Union was urged instead to cooperate more in the fields of research and domestic production.
The pandemic crisis highlighted the European Union's reliance on China to supply raw materials and pharmaceuticals, an issue raised several times by both the European Commission and EU leaders. The EU is dependent on China for around half of the products used in sensitive industries, mainly raw materials and pharmaceuticals. The European Commission announced plans to conduct an in-depth review of supply chains, including raw materials, batteries, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, and technological tools, in order to decide how to deal with the problem. In an update of industrial strategy, the European Commission included a provision that EU funds could consist of diversification of supply and demands based on various trading partners whenever possible, but also stockpiling and autonomous operation when needed. According to the plan drafted by the European Commission, to reduce import dependency, EU countries may pool resources for major projects of common European interest, IPCEI. It would allow EU governments to finance projects under more accessible state aid rules and allow companies to collaborate on the entire project from concept to production.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.